Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 405th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. If you missed Harry Major, go back and check it out. Old school salesman, great dude out of Atlanta, author of Story Selling. You really can learn a lot from our seasoned citizens because selling has not changed, because humans have not changed. And we get into that today with Matthew Woodward. We talk about the proven secret to master SEO, and we get into how humans have not changed in the online space /SEO. The principles of sales and marketing have not changed. So it's interesting how you have a salesman, a pure, historical, experienced, successful salesman. In the last interview today, we got this young guy from the UK talking about SEO and how the concepts are 100% the same. I've always said if you want to make any sale, you have to make every sale. So from an SEO standpoint, we're talking about headlines. We're talking about using multimedia. We're talking about good content, labeling your pictures, using captions, using the keywords appropriately throughout your content. But there's even more. Way back in the day, you could game the system. It was called keyword stuffing. And then over time, these search engines, they get smarter and smarter and smarter. And when you do get caught and you get blacklisted, it's literally like you don't exist on the web. And that's a bad thing. So yeah, you may be able to game the system for a little while, but it will come back to bite you in the butt. So don't do that. Right? I bought my domain name in September, I think September 1st, 2006. I know it was in September. And I started blogging regularly, a year or two later. Now I've got over 1,000 blog posts. And I'm actually going back because times have changed. Way back in the day, it was frequent, fresh content. Now it's called thin content. Because it was, 300 words, 500 words, you were putting out stuff on a regular basis. Now what we've seen that works is longer form content, more epic posts. I'm actually spending time literally every day updating old posts. I'll delete old ones. I'll redirect them. I'll take 2 or 3 or even 10. I took 10 or 11 blog posts on social media and merged them into one epic blog post worthy of your time, whereas the others were just really thinly veiled sales pitches. Hate to say it, but that's what it was. So the practices have changed, but at the end of the day, if you had always kept in mind that there's a human on the other end of the screen, then you'd be all right. Now, the bad news about SEO is that it takes a while to create organic search results. The good news is they can literally last a decade or more once you create that great content and then you just kind of tune it up, freshen it up. I tell you, it is much easier to update a blog post than to create one from scratch. So take heed of what we're doing here. Take heed of this episode. Go back and listen to Harry's. Get Harry's book. I linked to it from his website or from his blog post on his episode. And it's Maziar, Harry Major. So go check him out. We've got Matthew Woodward here. But along with this type of messaging and remembering that there's humans on the other end of the screen, what happens when your good SEO gets those people to your website? How are you converting those window shoppers into leads? Check this out. What does insight-driven messaging look like for sales? Like a whole lot more deals, fast. Jump on high-intent leads in the moment with Intercom, the business messenger that extends the reach of your team 24/7. Intercom creates more opportunities for you by booking meetings and collecting data from leads automatically. Take Intercom user Elegant Themes. They now convert 25% of leads through Intercom's messenger. Deals don't wait. Get them with Intercom. Go to intercom.com/deals. That's intercom.com/deals. And I've been talking about deals for a while with the 30-day sales growth program. It's still a great deal. The price is going up a little bit, but I've put together a killer welcome package that you're going to get when you sign up today at 30daysalesgrowth.com. It is still a month-to-month agreement. Cancel at any time, but give me a break. What else are you going to do? Debate on Facebook about global warming or presidents or whatever? Narrow your focus. Get with somebody you resonate and stick with them until you grow beyond them, okay? It's what I did. But when I first got involved in an ongoing course like this, it was 2005. The class started in early 06. It was a 12-week class, $600, and it changed my life. I became a licensee of that sales trainer. We're still friends to this day. It literally changed my life. And at that point in 2006, when the course started, I'd been in sales full-time 9 years. I'd made $100,000 every year since 99. So, 7 years, I'd made $100,000. And so people would say, oh, you were a successful salesman. And I was. But I knew there was more. I knew I could be smarter, more efficient, more effective. And that's what I learned. And I put into practice, and I've been teaching what I've learned. I've been teaching what I've applied to this very day. And that's what you get in that course. But along with that, I want you to check out something. Even if you're hesitant, I get it. Go check out thesalesagenda.com. It's a free tool. It's one of the pivotal things that I learned when working with Steve back in the day on how to take control of a sale, how to control it from beginning to end. And by eliminating the doubt, the mystification from each of us, me and the prospect, it made me more efficient. I gave less presentations. I had a higher show-up rate for my meetings. I gave fewer proposals, but I closed more of a higher percentage, but I still closed more of them faster by taking control of the sale. So go get that. It's a free tool, thesalesagenda.com. Let me know what you think. All right, now let's bring on our guest. Matthew Woodward, award-winning SEO traffic guy all the way from the UK, right? Are you in the UK? You're in the UK. Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from the UK originally, but I've actually been hiding out in Costa Rica the past 6 years. So.
Oh, very nice. Well, welcome from Costa Rica.
Yeah,
Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been one of those days. It's a Monday and new baby in the house. So yeah, fighting fires today. So this is a nice way to wrap my day up. Thank you for having me on.
I understand that times 7. So we can talk parenting if you want. I mean, we can just go off the rails here.
I'm already going off the rails.
Because I mean, our listeners probably appreciate some parenting advice more than SEO advice. I mean, But then again, if they had more traffic and they converted, they'd make more money and they could afford to stay home or hire a nanny or whatever. So maybe
that's true.
Indirectly.
That's true. Luckily, I do have the benefit of working from home, and there are many things I get to enjoy that I'd otherwise miss. So yeah, there's upsides, but damn, I'm tired.
Very cool. So, man, you are all over the place. I've seen you on Entrepreneur, Ahrefs. Mm-hmm. Inc., Yahoo, Moz, but I mean, 15 years ago, you were just a puke doing data entry, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was, sucking the corporate life, so to speak. I ended up getting a job doing data entry, and luckily back then the corporate world didn't understand the internet, but I did. I was that kid, Okay. And I very quickly ended up as head of online marketing, and we had a lot of success for some major global clients. But yeah, anyone that's in the corporate world knows it sucks. And the corporate world's kind of like really slow and rigid, where the web's fast and dynamic, and it's just not a good combination. It's very frustrating. It took us like a year and 5 meetings, and we had to get like 2-hour train each direction to every meeting just to put like an email sign up form. It's like, oh God, whereas in my spare time, that was like 5 minutes, copy, paste, bam, done, like deployed. Right. So, I learned a lot in the corporate world that I couldn't have learned anywhere else, but Wow. That was a nice introduction into things.
Yeah. Well, and I tell people, I mean, there's pros and cons. You know, obviously, if you've got that entrepreneurial itch, you're not going to be satisfied till you scratch it.
Yeah, well, you can satisfy it if you're working in a dynamic team around you and you're hitting those goals and and you're really enjoying it. But when you're constantly firefighting and red tape and all the rest of it, then you're not spending your time on your passion. You're spending your time on politics, and it's just soul sucking, So
I was there.
But I got to learn a lot of things with other people's money, so that was great.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you do, right? So it's like hold your nose as long as you can.
Yeah.
There are some good things. I mean, you're learning with other people's money.
Yeah.
So that can be good, right? But yeah, eventually you got to get out and improve yourself, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I did.
So
the best decision of my life.
So how did you, thank you. I got my little helper here. You can't see her off camera. That's nice. Got the camera up high. I got my little helper down low, bringing me a Coke. It was all good. So were you curious? I mean, did you know this stuff and you were just hired for the wrong job and that's how you kind of rose up, or were you learning this on the side? How do you go from data entry to head of marketing?
I was always interested in the web. I was always interested in sales, and I was a kid that I'd sell you anything at school. Sweets, Pokemon cards. I go knock on doors and wash cars, cut gardens. Like I was just, I always had that. I don't know what it is, that itch. Right. I always had that. Then I always had a natural interest in computers, competitive video games. My mum always used to shout at me for wasting so much time on that bloody computer. You're
going to ruin your eyes. Get over that computer. Go outside and play.
Well, not even that. That was back when it was dial-up internet. I was using the phone line, and we didn't have mobile phones.
Hang up so I can call your grandmother.
Crazy, But that led into people were recording their best bits, their demos, if you like, in the very first days of esports. And YouTube didn't exist. We didn't have anywhere to share these videos, So I built the first website that allowed us to do that. Now, I lacked the vision at that age to build YouTube, because that's essentially what it was, a video sharing website. I didn't really figure out you could make money online until I was maybe 17 or so. And it was in 2005 when I finally kind of connected all of the dots, all of the different skills I'd been kind of naturally picking up as I was growing up. And you might remember the free iPod craze in 2005. You kind of get 8 friends to sign up for an offer and you get a free iPod. It was a long time ago. Like everyone was spamming each other with it in one way or another on MySpace, But I was building websites and ranking them in Google, and I was ranking for terms like free iPod Touch, free MacBook, some pretty crazy terms, and it converted very well. And all of that was happening during my corporate career. I was building the sites outside and experimenting and connecting dots and everything. So in the end, it just all came to a head where it was like, well, all of these people that are giving me red tape in my corporate, I'm like, well, I'm making 3 times as much money as this guy that's telling me I'm an idiot. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm out.
So you were monetizing it on the side.
Yes, yeah. I built everything on the side. When I took the jump from corporate to full time, I wasn't taking a financial risk. I was already generating income from my sites when I did that. I was also young. I didn't have responsibilities, families, just a rent to pay. So my risk factors were very minimal, almost non-existent. I had multiple job offers from lots of other places that if it all fell apart, I could have walked into. So I didn't have that much risk. A lot of people have that fear. I didn't, because there were so many safety nets around me that it was stupid not to do it.
Yeah. So since 2005, I mean, what what has stayed the same? So before we talk about what's different, what has been fundamental and unchanged in the SEO landscape that'll probably remain unchanged for another 15 years?
Humans. Because at the heart and soul of sales for, centuries is humans. And if you really break things down, not much has changed. The way that we apply sales psychology and things has changed. Now we apply it with Twitter or, rather than a newspaper. We're still using the same principles and foundations of sales and marketing as we always have done, just in a new format. So I always like to think, and in like the power of observation, especially in SEO, is highly underused because we're so distracted with tools and data and automation and all these other things. We really forget about the human. You can look in Google Analytics and you're like, I only got 50 hits yesterday, but if you think about it, if you were in a room with 50 people looking at you and you were reading out your article, that'd be a pretty intimidating experience for most people. But when you're just looking at like Google Analytics, I've got 50 people, it's like, it almost belittles what it actually is. So the power of observation and keeping that human touch, especially in the digital world, is something that I've used to my advantage, not just as an affiliate marketer, but, in SEO as well, how SEO's evolved. If you're wondering about how something's working or why something's ranking, well, you can just Google it and you can look at it. Like, you can observe. You don't need to buy any tool. You don't need to do anything. You can just look, and that's really, I think that's really underutilized in general life, the power of observation, not just in the context that I'm speaking in right now, but just in general. So that's what I use to get ahead. That's what stayed consistent for the last, since Google really created SEO in '98, and that's what's going to stay consistent. Humans at the center of it. Humans are doing the searches. Humans are building the websites. Humans are putting the links in. That human factor is never going to change. And pretty much, if you can make anyone laugh, it's going to go in a direction you want it to go. Whether you're trying to build a link or get a guest post published or whatever it is in life, really. So that's the constant, humans, and that's what we have to optimize for before anything else.
But aren't we all harder to reach now?
It depends. Like, okay, look, I've got an SEO blog, a popular SEO blog in the space. I get pitched left, right, and center. It's unbelievable, right? But at the same time, I've got an outreach team, and we know how to make people respond. We're getting a 36% close rate of cold emails. And the reason that we do that is just like I just touched on. We remember the human. We make people laugh. Like, all of the outreach emails I get are like, hey, how are you doing? I love your blog. I was reading this post, insert URL. I'm like, delete. You're trying to fuck on the first date. You don't do that. Yeah. First, hey, how you doing? Insert weird blog, cliche or GIF or whatever's relevant. You might see a GIF that's got like 50,000 likes on Facebook. That means, well, entertain 50,000 people. Well, you can use that to break the ice in your outreach somewhere. There's lots of niche relevant GIFs and memes and different things that you can play with. And the way we do it in the SEO niche is we actually take them, almost poke fun at people that do mass outreach. We literally say, hey, first name. Just kidding. This isn't really an automated thing. And then we jump into it like that. And that gets a really good response rate. That we're literally poking fun at how people do outreach in mass. So, yeah, people are harder to reach, but that's because you're not really trying to offer any value before right. You go there. You gotta up your game. And the one thing that unites every single human being on the planet is we love to smile. So the goal of your first piece of outreach, make that person smile, because after that you've got them, and you can kind of take it wherever you want to go from there.
Yeah. Over the weekend, usually I block people's info when they spam me.
Yeah.
And Good thing I got a screenshot because it looks like he unfriended me. Actually, I unfriended him. Maybe he blocked me because now I don't see him. So he sends me this message. So let's go back. All right, so we connected way back in 2017, so 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So then he pitches me, that was September, pitches me in November. I ignore him. He sends me happy birthday this year. Great. I say thanks. July, he says, hey, hope you're having a productive and great year. That's all he says. I'm like, yeah.
I was.
So lovely.
I wasn't until I opened that email.
Lots of value there.
Yeah.
So these are LinkedIn messages.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday, he sends me, I have a lot of insurance leads if you want them. Please watch my video for more information or visit his website.
Yeah.
Feel free to call me.
Yeah.
And I replied, I don't sell insurance. Are you sending this email to everyone? He replies within 15 minutes, yes, I am. He said, how effective is this spam technique? Should I send you hemorrhoid pitches? And his name was Troy. And I did a screenshot and I posted on Instagram. I posted it or on LinkedIn. I posted it on Facebook. I said, don't be hemorrhoid Troy.
Hemorrhoid Troy. Yeah.
Right?
Now you can do bulk like that. You can do it like that, but it's got to be to a very specific segment. So
I don't sell insurance, right?
Like, and fair play. He built you up with a few messages before. He wasn't trying to fuck on the first date, so to speak, but he didn't add value at any point in that. But if he'd have just opened with something that made you laugh and engage you in a conversation, and then pivoted to something relevant, right, you'd have been there. Yeah, you'd have been all the way there. And you don't. That personalization doesn't need to happen like on an individual scale. You can just segment it, and go from there and still do it in bulk, but people feel like it was written for them, Right. And that's where people go wrong. They just try and hit the same message to every single person that they can, and they end up with no convert. They send 1,000 messages out and they get like one customer. No, it's better to send 100 messages out and get 30 customers.
Yep. So we're talking about outreach. But I mean, you talk about search traffic, right? I mean, you're an SEO guy in general, which is typically inbound.
Yeah. Well,
right? So why are you doing so much outbound with the inbound?
I mean, for me, SEO is inbound and outbound. It encompasses everything from the content creation to the building links to it. It's holistic. It's for me, I couldn't ever consider just creating content and not going out and building links to it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I can't comprehend it.
So let's talk about that. So I mean, our listeners, they may not know what inbound links mean, or they may know but may not know how to get them.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Because it's one thing, and the way I explain it to people is like if your mom's next door neighbor who quilts and has 17 cats links to you from her Blogspot website, that's nice, and that is an inbound link, but it's not quite as powerful if one of the sharks from Shark Tank linked to your website. And they talk about something specifically that you do. So those are inbound links, but how do you get them?
Yeah, well, inbound links is basically a voting system. Like you said, when one website links to another, that casts a vote, but not all votes are equal. A vote from the New York Times is worth way more than a vote from me. It's a rigged election. It's more complicated than that. Like you say, we want a bit more relevancy in those links from the content. But in general, it's the search results are an election. Backlinks are the most powerful ranking factor, but they're not the only ranking factor. And this is one of the most common mistakes I see. People are so obsessed with link building, they can't see the woods for the trees. I call it obsessive compulsive backlink disorder. And we see it with every client. It's really annoying. We always have the same conversation. And look, backlinks are one part of a complete SEO strategy. So getting the backlinks starts with building something that people actually want to vote for, right? And that is the content, the quality of the content that you put in. Maybe it helps solve a problem or whatever it is, but the content of the quality of the content needs to be there so people actually want to vote for it, and that's one of the other big mistakes we see with a lot of clients and a lot of people that come on a blog and are asking me why they're not ranking, that you've just not put the effort into creating that quality of content. And often I ask people, look, first of all, I like to say, are you proud of this? When they show me a piece, are you proud of that? And quite often people are taken back and they're like, no. I'm like, is that the best you can do? Well, why isn't it the best you can do? If this was a real business and you opened, if you opened a supermarket, on the first day, you'd have all of the products organized on nice shelving, all the milk and dairy products will be together, all the beers and cold drinks will be together, all the bread will be in one place, everything will be organized, and each product will be digestible as you intend it to be. But when most people build a website, they don't put that same effort in, and things are all over the place, it's not organized right. The content, the content is a product, it's not written very well, it's just a mess. And they wouldn't open a physical store in the same way that they open the website in terms of content quality. And we speak with a lot of retail businesses, and once I say to them, look, your website is exactly the same as your brick and mortar business. How you plan it, how people walk around and have the experience and touch the products, that's exactly the same with your website and your content. People are touching the content, it's entering their brain, they're processing it, they're digesting it, they're creating an emotional feeling about it. So if you skip on the content and it sucks, well, first of all, just don't even bother. Like, you've just opened a shop no one wants to go in, and then secondly, you're not going to win the votes. You're not going to win the links. It makes your battle to win the election like 20 times harder. And your content quality is in your full control, so you've got no excuse but to make the election as easy as possible to win. So that's where the link building starts. That's where the winning vote starts. It starts with you and your message, your content, how it touches people, how it helps people, how it connects people's problems to solutions, whether that's information or a product you sell or whatever it is. Having that base foundation of content that readers love will also make it sure that Google loves it and anyone that you're going to later pitch to get their vote, And that's just how I like to look at it. It's an election, and you've got to put your best foot forward in order to win as many votes as possible. And that really is the grounded view of link building, rather than the crazy SEO technical way we often get confused in.
So is there a best format? I mean, we all hear about video, how video's taken over. But then I see studies about long form content, 1,200, 1,500 words.
Yeah.
Then I see multimedia. I still see people pitching infographics from time to time. Is it a video with a transcription? And, where do you begin?
Okay. So first of all, you've got to have an idea of what kind of content your target customer wants, right? Once you've got an idea of what that is, just do a search in Google. We touched on it before, use the power of observation. If you search in Google and you see that 6 of the top 10 results are like what I would call a listicle, which is like, 6 things you must do in Las Vegas, or 6 casinos you must hit in Las Vegas, or anything that lists things like that. If you see 6 listicle articles ranking, well, you got to write a listicle article, right? How many words should you write? Well, open the results and have a look. If you see a bunch of results with 1,000 words each, well, you know that you don't need to write 10,000 words. That would be a waste of business resource and effort and time and money and everything else. One of the SEO theories that's thrown around is to 10 times your content. No, that's bullshit. All you need to do is match or slightly improve upon. The difference between producing 1,000 words and 10,000 words is, for some people, like 6 weeks. So you just got to look at what's already there and match it or improve it. So if you do the search and you see a bunch of videos ranking, well, guess what you're making? You're making a video. If you see a bunch of reviews ranking, well, you're writing a review. If it's kind of newsy, informational kind of stuff, well, you're writing something like that. And you can just do the Google search, open up the top 10 competitors and make a list of what you like about each one and what you don't like about each one. And from there, you've got a good idea of exactly what you need to produce, because the power of observation is telling you that, and Google's telling you that because they know what people are looking for when they're searching for those kinds of keywords. And when you bring that back in, then that forms the base of your content and how you write it.
Yeah. And I guess if it's professional, right, professional video in a studio, they're probably going to have to do that if that's what the competition is doing, or,
yeah.
Or, I mean, is it better to at least have a video, you know, with an iPhone walking through your office? At least you've got something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends, because not everything lends itself to video. And you might actually, when you're at the drawing board, say, look, I don't really want to make videos. So any of your research that you do and you see lots of video results, just don't do it. Right? But there's a lot of room for authenticity in video, you know, doing it selfie style, walking around, especially if you're doing product reviews and you've actually got the product, people's bullshit meters are at an all-time high. So there's a lot of value in authenticity. Don't worry about having a professional video studio. I mean, right here, I'm stood in one, you know, but that's because I'm teaching businesses, you know, how to improve their search traffic and everything else. I've got to be professional. A selfie video wouldn't cut it, right? I got a green screen, I got a full-time editor, a full-time animator. You know, if I was doing product reviews, well, actually a selfie style video and showing me using the product and doing it with my mobile phone would actually be much more real and authentic. Actually doing it on a green screen and in a professional studio, people are going to be like, whoa, sponsored, bullshit, you know? So again, use that power of observation, but don't be scared if you haven't got the professional edge, because that can actually be your benefit if you use it in the right way.
Right. Cool. But I know a lot of people, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and people, they are afraid of video. They are afraid of writing. You know, I can't write, I can't produce content. I mean,
but that's okay. You can outsource it as long as you outsource it in the right way. Writing an article specification is easy. It's 2-paragraph intro, what it's going to be, and then you just do bullet points of the headers. What are the headers going to be? All right, do a Google search in your keyword. First bullet point, introduction. Second bullet point, look at the people also ask box. There's some great questions in there. There, your second, third, fourth bullet points. Now open up your competitors' results, have a little look around, see what you like, see what you don't like. There's your remaining bullet points. Send that to a writer with some basic writing guidelines. Done. It's not difficult. If you suck at writing, that's cool. You can hire someone. If you suck at video, that's cool. You can hire someone. It's not something to be scared of, but you know, we've all got our strengths and weaknesses. I'm very good at writing, but I actually outsource most of it because I'm growing a business. I don't want to be a writer all my life, you know. So I create specific guidelines around my writing. In fact, a lot of the writing on my blog is not done by me, but it's done in my style, and then it's edited by me. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you have a hard time with writing, then don't kill yourself on it. Just learn how to create specifications to give to someone else. That's really the best way to overcome it if you struggle. Another great way, if you really have knowledge on a subject and are authoritative, is with Google Docs. You can just enable voice typing if you use Google Chrome. Speak. You can prepare the structure, like I said, introduction, the questions that you're going to speak about, just speak. And then from there, you can pass it on to an editor who turns it into something, you know, readable. There's many ways to overcome those problems with video is especially nerving for people, especially live, like right now, you know. For me, it became natural. I've always spoken quite boldly with things in front of groups of people. Kind of learned a lot about that in the corporate world. So I've never had that shyness to overcome. But you don't always need to make video. There's a lot a lot of the times that video just doesn't make sense, and you see people putting effort into video. So don't worry about that. If you're scared about it, then it's not necessary. It's not absolutely necessary all of the time.
Right.
So just use that power of observation to your strength, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to jump in and do it. And let's say somebody is bad, and they're slow, but they got money. They hire a ghostwriter or a copywriter. Should they edit it to make it more their voice? Should they just trust the writer? Maybe they do an interview with them, kind of get the tone, and then just let them go ahead and publish it, and trust that you've hired a professional.
Yeah. Okay. So trust that you've hired a professional. If you get to the point where you're wondering if you trust you hired a professional, well, that's your fault. Like, you didn't interview them right. Like, you shouldn't ever have that question. If you ever get to that stage, it's you that's wrong, and you need to learn some interview and management techniques. Now, the way I do my writing hires, first of all, I have a very specific writing style. And my writing style is short and to the point, concise, no bullshit, maximum 2 sentences in a paragraph, and use bullet points as regularly as possible. That really breaks content down and makes it really quick and easy to digest. And where a lot of people are looking to increase their word count, I'll say to my writers, okay, that's 2,000 words. Now make it say the same thing with 1,500 words. So then they got to compress it. So people get the same amount of information in less time, right? It's something I optimize for, so to speak. So I have all that written out in a very specific document. And then when I hire a writer as well, I have very specific, this is what the article is going to be. This is your target word count. This is a target keyword. Here's the introduction and the headers and the summary, right? So with that prepared, then I go and look for a writer. Many people hire a writer without that prepared first. And that's where you end up with lots of mistakes, and you end up spending more time reviewing, editing, and managing the writer than you would have done if you just wrote it yourself.
Right.
So you've got to have those guidelines first. Then how do you hire the writer? I give them a paid test, just like I'd be paying them if they were working for me. So if you go on Upwork and put out a nice job description, you get your 20 applicants in, you can quickly weed out like the best 4 or 5. It doesn't take too much. I love people that live abroad. I love asking that question. Do you live abroad? Nearly everyone I've hired that comes back as a yes on that is a great hire, because they have a certain type of mindset that you need to leave your entire everything that you know and move abroad, so I like asking that question. Mad Singer taught me that. Great question. And give them a paid test. Look, if you're trying to hire someone that's from India, they say they speak fluent English, and you're trying to get away with paying them $3 or $4 an hour, well, yeah, you're going to spend a bunch of time editing that content, But if you spend $8 an hour, $9 an hour on a student that's a native speaker, or someone that's traveling that's a native speaker, and you give them that proper framework, this is a tone of voice, these are the specs, well, at that point, creating content becomes a non-issue, almost a machine. I literally have a Trello board. It's got a column to do when I want some writing. I just create a card in that. I attach the specification. That's it. And it comes back. It's 99% of the time perfect and done. That's a mistake people make. They don't put that process in place before they hire. And then the writer's kind of left to interpret things, and then it's not as you wanted it, and then you're frustrated, and then it just becomes a big mess. No, these are this is a tone of voice, this is a style of writing, here's a specification, here's some paid tests, and pick your winners. If you find good writers, well, hold on to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Hold on to them. But that's the way you do it. And to give you an idea on rates, for when I'm having content produced for my blog, I'm paying 30 cents per word, just to give you an idea on what it costs for high end quality content. So yeah, you can go anywhere. I wouldn't like to hire anyone for less than $5 100 words. Anyone below that seems to be like, yeah, you're touching on not good quality.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I overcome writing at scale, so to speak, because I hate writing. Even though I'm good at it, I hate it.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I like it, but it's hard to find time. There's so much to do. You got to figure out what to delegate and what to do yourself.
Yeah. You know, and writing's often a glass thinking process. It's not something you can just pick up and start doing. You got to, you know, build that model in your head first, explore it, and then start writing. You know, it's not something you can just pick up and put down. You need focus in order to do it well. So if you are struggling with it, there's no reason to struggle in this day and age. We've got the systems to do it. Just go on Upwork, create a Trello board that manages the content process, some basic specs in Google Docs, and that pain point will be instantly removed for you. Yeah.
Right. So how much does social media play into SEO, and should you be SEO minded when making your social media posts?
Yeah, social media and SEO has a conflicted relationship. You're going to find people that will tell you it has no relationship whatsoever, and you're going to find people that says it does. Now, Google have been playing with the value of social signals for a long time in their algorithm. A long time ago, they had a direct data pipeline into Twitter, and you could rank things on the first page just by buying a bunch of tweets at them. Like the velocity of the tweets would push the page up the rankings. That was like 2014. 13, somewhere around that time where that was effective. So there's definitely been a point in time where it's effective. But what social signals are essentially is a different form of voting, right? Just like backlinks are a form of voting, so are social shares. So I like to use them as a signal that, am I doing the right thing? Because like, if people ain't sharing it, if people aren't engaging with it, then I know I've not hit the mark, you know? And you know, if people aren't engaging with content, that affects so many other metrics and signals that do go into the algorithm and the ranking signal. So I don't write my posts with the intention of increasing my rankings, but I do write them with the intention of attracting the intention of humans, pushing them into the content that I know is excellent, and then that content's going to create those signals that then feeds Google. I'm not doing it for search, I'm doing it for the human, you know,
Right.
and it all feeds into each other. It's an ecosystem. Yeah.
Do you use social media as a test, like maybe split testing titles of reports or books or things like that?
No, split testing I do all on the site itself of Google Optimize, free tool if you've not used it. No reason to be paying for split testing in 2019. But the social, for example, I'm using social right now to tease people. Tomorrow, what I'm going to do is publish the results of a case study that puts Moz, Ahrefs, SEMrush, Majestic, and SEO Spyglass to the test. I ran 1 million domains through each tool to see who's got the biggest link database. So I've been teasing people with the results since Thursday. On Thursday, I posted a little image of the bar graph, but with the names of the competitors removed and an arrow pointing to last year's winner, which this year came last. So I've been teasing people like, hey, last year's winners come last. You wait on Tuesday. I'm going to share the data. If you go across any of the SEO groups right now, you'll see in it. They've got like 200 likes and 100 comments across all of them. People are going wild for it. So, but again, that's more of the human nature. I'm stirring up the frenzy. I'm getting people excited. I'm getting people ready. They know that tomorrow, and by the time this video is published, this will be live already, what I'm talking about, but they know that tomorrow, like, they're ready, you know? So I'm not using that for an SEO point of view. I'm using it purely to attract people. You know, eventually that's going to attracting people is going to result in the metrics that I want. People are going to engage with the content. They're going to be clicking the affiliate links, signing up. They're going to be building links to it, socially sharing, adding comments to it, all these other different pieces of value that they can bring to me. That's all going to start tomorrow, but I've been using social media to kind of stir that up since Thursday, and it's Monday right now, so just the last few days. But yeah, that's about my limit of using it. I'm not a terribly social person myself, so social media's
yeah, it's like
for me, you know?
I'm always torn because I see, I mean, all these crazy people out there. I mean, I don't know how they get anything work done. I mean, they're posting like every 30 minutes. And it's like, man, I can't do it. I mean, I'm like, how are they that creative? You know, how are they that freaking smart to have something worth saying that often? It's just like, it's exhausting. And then I'm also like, am I doing my clients a favor by constantly putting stuff out there that they got to keep checking in on instead of them focusing?
Yeah, so that's where people often miss it with social media. You know, you're like, why are you doing social media? Well, because everyone does social media. No, like if it doesn't align to your business's goals, and if you go and look at your stats and, you know, you look at your posts and they're not bringing traffic that converts into leads and sales, and why are you doing it?
Right.
You know, and many businesses just do it for the sake of doing it. They're just like, oh, we've got to do it. That's how it works, you know? Well, yeah, it is how it works if it aligns to your goals in businesses and producing ROI for you. I you know, I haven't got Instagram. I've never used Pinterest. I no idea, you know, and I don't particularly feel like I've got something interesting to say every 30 minutes of the day either, you know. Right. So I just don't use it like that personally. I think I probably post on my personal Facebook like 3 times a year. I don't know. On the business quite regularly, I built a Google Sheet where when we've got a post to promote, you just tick it's a promotion strategy generator. You just tick all of the different promotions that you want to do, which includes different link building and things, and you hit a button and it generates a schedule, and then I can copy and paste that into my social tool, and in about 10 minutes, I can schedule the next 2 years of social updates for a piece of content. Not just the social updates, the entire marketing and promotional plan. But the social aspect just loads up like, boom, quick. So that's how I overcome it in the business. In personal life, clueless.
And so how important is social, though, for driving traffic and awareness?
Now, when I launched the blog in 2012, it was an SEO blog, and I decided I wasn't going to use SEO to promote it, which was kind of crippling because, well, that's what I know. So I lent on that human factor, and I just built content that helps people solve their problems. And how did I know what problems people were facing? Well, before we used Facebook groups, we used forums. And I just go in forums and look what problems people were having. I create content that solves them. And I go back into that forum and then respond. And, you know, I'd write out an answer and help them out and be like, well, if you struggle with it, you can just watch this video, you know, and then link them to the blog. That, I guess, was the original social media. And again, what hasn't changed in that is humans. Or my main promotional point was, here's the thing that's going to help solve your problem. You know, that's the content I created. It's why I created it. And then I just went out and engaged the community in that way. The blog made, I think, $600 a first month and $4,000 a second month. So that was all born out of just really leaning on that human factor. What problems are the people having?
What were you
What problems
selling?
do I know how to solve? What was I selling?
Were you consulting, or did you have a program? What were you selling?
It was all affiliate commissions. It was,
okay.
You know, sometimes people have a problem, and the best way to solve it is with a product. So I was recording tutorials where I was just making lists of people's problems, and I was like, well, I'm doing this every day. I'm just going to record what I'm doing. Like, there's no genius behind it. I'm like, oh, you've got that problem? Well, I literally deal with that problem every day. Here's a video of how I deal with it. You might need to buy this.
Right.
and sometimes you need to buy something. Back in 2012, one of the most popular ones was with Google Alerts. It's a free tool. Still one of the most popular articles to this day. And that's all I focused on doing. So the social media aspect of it, the social part's built from the ground up, from the inception of the content, why I'm creating the content, why I created the blog in the first place was like, I was just like, well, I could just record what I'm doing every day. It's probably going to help people. And it did. So while while I'm not that particularly social, that it was essentially, the blog was built on a social kind of thread and theme throughout. And from there, you just go read the testimonials page. You want social media? Screw social media. I don't want likes. I don't want none of that. What I want is those testimonials. You go scroll. You'll get bored before you get to the end of that testimonials page, and that for me is social media. Like, that is the real reward. Life-changing stories. People making six figures, quitting their jobs. Like, life-changing stories from the content that the read from the blog. Keep your Facebook updates. I don't need them.
I just saw this post that said, Facebook, where alcoholics and emotionally unstable people are motivational speakers.
Yeah, and it's true, right? Like, if you in the old days, if you wanted to go and get that kind of lecture, you just go to like a random park and there'd be a drunk dude stood on a box shouting at people as they're walking past, right? Yeah. Now it's on your phone in your hand, like I say, the human's not changed. It's just the way it happens has.
So could you do that again today? I mean, could you, if you started this blog in end of 2019?
Yeah, I
build it up, or like what would you do differently if you had to do it again?
I start a bunch of niche sites all the time. Right now, all of my niche sites are based in movements. Like, all the niches are, without giving it away, it's movements, social movements, collective movements, groups of people. They're the areas that I focus on, and I love problem solving content. Like, if I can write a review for a product, or I can write a tutorial on a problem that product solves, I'm always going to write the tutorial on the problem it solves. Mm-hmm. Look, sales and marketing hasn't changed in hundreds of years. If you understand what the person's problems are and you offer them a solution, you're going to make money. That's it, right? Doesn't matter if it's 2019 or 1870, same thing. So yeah, the problem is, and I said it before, everyone's trying to fuck on the first date. They're not interested in helping people connect people's problems to solutions. They're more interested in writing the review than the tutorial, And I think that's where many businesses go wrong. And that's why people say, creating content and blogging and all of this, it's an uphill battle. Yeah, it's an uphill battle because you chose it to be an uphill battle. If you just focus on the human, you focus on helping connecting that person's problems to a solution, and don't worry about the money. You'll make the money after. The money will come. Just help people first. You do that, you'll find success. It doesn't matter if it's 2019, 2070, it doesn't matter. The way that we apply that will always change. Right now we apply it through, blogs, websites, digital. But that's forever changing. The battle of voice, again, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to ask your speaker the question, and hopefully not my voice answers, but the answer might come from me. So that's the that's the way to do it. Doesn't matter what year it is, just help people,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's help them find your website, shall we?
Yeah, you can hit me at matthewwoodward.co.uk. I mean, I've got so much content on there over the years. I can probably find something that'll solve any problem you've got. But if you're a small business owner and you're looking to increase your search traffic, well, It's a minefield, to be honest. There's so many tricky things out there. But if you go on my homepage and you scroll down, there's a pink section, search engine optimization. There's a case study there called SEO audit plus 45% traffic. There's another one there called 14 times search traffic. If you read through those things, they'll give you you'll walk away with things and you'll be like, wow, I can apply that to my site, and you'll see some kind of increase in your search traffic from the things you'll learn from those posts. Really, really, really easy to implement things. And one of the other quick wins that we apply to lots of clients that come to us is really simple. We just optimize the site speed. Now, optimizing site speed sounds scary, but actually it can be done with just a couple of plugins and maybe 30 minutes of your time. So if you're a small business owner and you've got access to the website and you kind of know what you're doing, you can just follow it. If you go on my homepage, again, in the pink SEO section, there's a thing called Site Speed. Just click on that, follow the tutorial. I'll teach you how to get a benchmark of where you are now. I'll show you how to calculate how much money per year that's costing you. And then I'll show you how to improve it in a few simple steps. And then you'll be able to run the calculations again to see how much increase in revenue you get from that increase in site speed. They're really the best and quickest ways that I can, without knowing the individual people, those 3 tutorials will touch the vast majority of the problems that people listening are facing. So also feel free to reach out to me. Most of my blog and the content that's on there is created based on solving people's problems. People reach out and say, hey, I don't know how to do this. And if I haven't got the content there, then I just put it in the ideas list. And of course, I'll respond to you and let you know this is what you should do. Don't be scared to reach out. I'm here to help. That's the entire kind of methodology to all of my businesses. So that's where you can find me, matthewwoodward.co.uk.
So how did you decide on your website name? Like, why is it not best SEO in the Northern Hemisphere, or, SEO guru Matthew Woodward, or Matthew SEO guru Woodward?
Well, the blog was actually an SEO experiment to see if you could rank a website without building links, because back then Matt Cutts was always banging on, no, forget link building, just build quality content, like blah, 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 blah. So I was like, well, let's see what happens. So there wasn't really any thought into the name or where. I had my personal domain. It was lying in my 123reg domain account. I thought, I'll just use that. There wasn't really any thought into it. It wasn't a plan. And the blog's success was purely an accident. I never really, it's not like I had a big grand business plan, coming into it. I was just like, oh, well, I'm just going to record what I'm doing. It helps these people and show them that. And that was it.
Right.
Nothing, no super secret really. So I don't know, that's why it is. With niche sites, I don't do that. I build brands. If a brand name includes a keyword, that's cool, but I'm not looking to include keywords necessarily. It needs to be relevant to the topic or the niche or whatever in general. When people first hear it, they need to be able to attach it to roughly what category of site or niche it is. But beyond that, I don't worry about keywords or anything like that. And in fact, I don't even buy new domains. I always buy expired domains that have got history and already have a link profile to them. So that kind of limits your choice oftentimes in what you buy. But I use a tool called Spamzilla to find expired domains that have existing SEO authority and weight, and I build out every new site on a domain like that rather than registering a new domain from fresh.
Like on average, what does that cost, like per domain?
I mean, sometimes you find them and they're just free to register, just like normal. So whatever the normal.com registration is, like $9. Sometimes they're at an auction and you got to bid, and it really depends. If the auction's ending on a Sunday, you're going to pay a lot less than if it ends on a Thursday. It depends if people are picking it up. What kind, has it got links from like Wikipedia, Forbes, New York Times? Like, there's strong link profiles, and then there's like, link profiles, so
Right.
I've paid thousands of dollars, but literally it just depends. I use Spamzilla; it finds everything. Just have a look through the opportunities. You can search by keyword and category and topic and whatever. You might just find one that's free to register. You might find one that you got to pay, like at SnapNames, like $79, or you might find one where you're in a bid, and you might get it for 200, but it might be someone like me that really wants it, and you ain't going to get it any price, So it depends. But the way I like to look at it is, if you were in the market of buying links, a really good link, like a really authoritative vote, if you like, is going to cost you in the region of $200 or $300 each for a really good one, relevant, really strong one. So if you're looking
that's one time, right? And then you pay your normal renewal, or is it $200?
No. I'm saying, like, if you were in the market to buy links for a new domain, for a really good solid link, you'd be paying about $200 to $300.
Oh, to buy the actual link.
Yeah. So when you're evaluating a domain, like, how much should I pay for it? If you look at the link profile, you can kind of be like, wow, well, it'd cost me like $200 to buy that link. It'd cost me $300 to get, like, so, all right, well, they want $400 for the domain. Suddenly it's not expensive, It's the right investment. So you just need to kind of look, like, if there's an expired domain and it ticks all the boxes, Spamzilla will make sure you're ticking all the boxes. You look at the link profile, just like, how much would it cost me to create that link profile if I bought a new domain, and then just look at which one's cheaper.
Yeah. So why is it called Spamzilla?
Weird, right? Weird. I don't know why they called it that. Really weird. I think the initial thing was to provide expired domains for sale that were like pre-spam filtered and spam checked, because you can easily buy a lemon. It's like buying a used car. You've got a new paint job, looks great, but you got a bunch of rust under the arches. Same kind of deal. So, but Spamzilla does a lot of the removes a lot of the bad eggs for you. So I guess that's what they were going for. But yeah, I also thought, why you called it that? That's weird. But yeah, great tool either way.
So I'm having this debate right now with my team on my own homepage.
Okay.
And because for a long time I've had quite a few links in the footer. Not like hundreds, but I mean probably 20, 25, somewhere in that neighborhood. And okay. Broken down by, popular pages and pages I want people to go to.
Yes.
And so talking with the team, they're like, some are saying, too many links, and even in the body, I'm A/B testing. Some are very simple, just content with a couple of links, or just like a simple CTA. Others are more, more links. I mean, your homepage is just one big long directory, basically. I can go all over the place.
The goal of my homepage is to connect a person's problem to a solution as quickly as possible, hopefully in one click.
Okay.
That's the goal behind it. Now, your footer links, actually this is very relevant, and I never had footer links on my blog. About 2 weeks ago, I added them. If you go to a post or page on my blog and scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see a daft picture of me along with some internal links. And let me tell you, well, first of all, the links are placed. If you're looking at an SEO post or page, you're going to see different links at the bottom than if you're looking at a blogging page, right?
Sure.
So the what you see is specific to the category that the page is in. Let me tell you this. Every single post that I linked from the footer had significant improvements in the search rankings. I use AccuRanker to track it. I added a tag to all the keywords called footer. And when I deployed it, every single one seen significant increases. So should you use footer links for SEO? Yes. But what's more important, and you actually touched on it, is what lots of SEOs forget about is internal links aren't just about SEO. They're also about directing people to the pages that are going to convert them. And I can see at the bottom of your page, you have a combination where you're trying to use internal links to rank pages, but you're also using it to generate leads. And in my opinion, your footer is perfect. I wouldn't change it. Your homepage, look, split testing is king. On my homepage, I'm literally next week going to launch a split test. You notice that mine's just kind of like a long directory, right? So I'm going to split test the long form. I'm also going to cut it halfway down and do a short page, but I'm also going to split test above the fold. Above the fold right now is a call to action. If you're struggling to build a keyword strategy or backlink strategy, I've actually got some Google Sheets I built that you can download. And on the homepage, it's the main call to action above the fold. I'm actually going to change that to, instead of being a call to action, just going to be like, how can I help you, in a search box and nothing else. So I'm gonna start split testing that next week just to see, which gets the better time on page, which creates a better user experience, which gets because it's not just about the conversion numbers, about the experience as well. So I'm very looking forward to launching that test and seeing what happens. Yeah. If you look at the homepage right now, you see a picture of me. I split tested that picture performed way better than any other picture of me. So yeah, split testing.
Well, your others, I mean, you were beer bonging. You were.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
You were passed out on a bench, and people were drawing with Sharpies on you. So look, I mean, you have clothes on, and your eyes are open. No wonder it's doing better. Come on, man.
I mean, yeah, we've seen some progress over the years. But yeah, no, your footers are really nice, and actually, I quite like your homepage because it's not typical. When you hit it, you're like, what the? So like most homepages are like video above the fold, call to action, headline. Like it's all very easy. It's almost, people almost have banner blindness to that now. But your homepage forces the eye into it. Like the centered text is really hard to read. It's actually really annoying, but I'm reading it, and that's the point. That's the point. I'm reading it.
Right.
So what are you using for split testing?
My whole site's built on HubSpot.
Okay, nice. So you got everything that you need right there. Yeah.
Yeah, they have A/B testing, and now you can create up to 5 versions. Yeah. If you want. So.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's listening who haven't got HubSpot money, then Google Optimize. It's free. It's great.
I'm linking to that. So I'm linking to Google Optimize. I'm linking to Spamzilla. I'm linking to your homepage.
Yeah, we got the 14 times SEO case study, increasing website speed, the SEO audit, and my homepage. If you want to sign up and hear more from me, just download those spreadsheets. You'll be able to build a keyword and link building strategy in a few minutes, and then you'll have the pleasure of me landing in your inbox on the regular.
Very nice.
But you're never going to get a promotion from me. I promise you that. You're only ever going to get problem-solving, tutorial-based content. That's my bread and butter. It's all I send out. And sometimes that's going to include a recommendation to a product because that is the best way to solve the problem. And quite oftentimes not. If you browse through, you'll see for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I'm linking to that. So I appreciate you taking the time from Costa Rica. Sharing the words of wisdom.
No problem at all. And please, anyone listening, you got any question about SEO or trying to improve the position of your business in the search engines, just reach out. Like it might just be that I just paste a link to a tutorial that solves your problem, but I'll solve your problem one way or another. So please just reach out.
Very nice. Matthew Woodward, thanks for coming on the show, man. It's been great.
No, thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
I would apologize for going a little long on that if I was sorry. But hey, great guy, great content, super straightforward. The info he gave is right on point. I linked to everything in the show notes on thesaleswhisperer.com. We talk about his home on the web, how to get 14 times traffic to your site, how to make your website faster, which is very important to improve conversions, how to do an SEO audit, on your site and a couple of other links. But, it's so important. I love the fact that he talks about writing. There's been so much that goes out there about video and pictures, Pinterest and Instagram and things like that. But at the end of the day, we take pictures as humans, even moving pictures, and convert them to meaning. We convert them to words. So even if you're acting things out, you got to know what the purpose is. So having a good writer is important. Putting some structure to this is important. And when it comes to SEO, you have to write. The search engines are looking through the content to index it. Now, they are getting smarter. These dang search engines are able to pull words out of video. They're even scanning images and getting very good at it. It's kind of scary, but I digress. But understanding the spoken word, the written word, how we take that and apply meaning to them, how you use that when converting your prospects every step along the way. Again, to make any sale, you must make every sale. So be good with your words. Okay? If you want to get great at your words, join us, 30daysalesgrowth.com. I have complete scripts, I have workbooks, I have tutorials, I have videos, but you can put your stuff out there in the group and we will critique it for you for free. And then on the live weekly calls, if you're brave enough to put yourself out there and open yourself up to some constructive criticism, you will grow. Or you can try on your own. It's up to you, okay? But stop doing it on your own. Come hang out with us. Come grow. It's what I do. It's what I was put on this earth to do. 30daysalesgrowth.com. Thanks for listening. Now go sell something.